Well, welcome to the first test of my Traxxas Drag Slash. If you have not got one of these on order, you will definitely want to, hopefully, after watching this video. Anyway, let's get to it.
Well, welcome my fellow drifting maniacs, Rich here, and this is the second or third intro that I've reshot for this video, because the first one I shot was before I'd driven the car contained in this box, and I had a completely different title to the video. I entitled this video, "This is Just Awesome," on the thumbnail for a reason. That is because this Traxxas Drag Slash is absolutely awesome. It's good on 2S, it's absolutely out of this world on 3S, just with the stock out of the box, setup and gearing. You might think drag racing boring, Rich, I don't really be doing that time after time. It is so addictive, it is untrue. I've been out for nearly 2 hours. Because you're only doing short bursts, even the smallest of batteries will just last forever and a day. Anyway, here's a little taster of what's to come at the end of this video. Oh yeah. And if you like what you see, then don't forget to subscribe, because there's going to be plenty more videos of this car coming as I tune it and get it properly dialed in. I will say for a start, I've not any big plans to change the power plant out or anything like that, but I do plan on getting it so it's running super straight and will launch absolutely straight as an arrow off of the line. And as you'll see later on in this video, you don't even need to do a burnout with it in order to get it to hook up and absolutely launch like a missile. Anyway, if you're thinking the Traxxas Drag Slash is expensive, think again. This thing is worth every darn cent. So, what do you get for our money? Let's take a look and see. It was kind of inevitable that I was going to get a Traxxas Drag Slash. After all, I did predict that the very next car Traxxas were going to release was the Traxxas Drag Slash, and I predicted that just over a year ago. So finally, I've got my hands on one, predominantly because I was away on holiday for the past couple of weeks when the thing was launched. We have got a 1967 Chevy C10, and I absolutely love old modified trucks, particularly if they're slammed to the ground on airbags, pro street look, all that kind of thing. Absolutely love it. So this is ticking so many boxes for me. It is untrue. And a few people out there are probably thinking, well, Traxxas have probably just reworked the existing Slash platform. Not a bit of it. A lot of this car is completely new. First of all, we've got the Magnum 272 Heavy Duty Pro Series transmission, and probably the key new feature of this car, transmission brake lock. No squeezing the throttle as soon as you see the light go green. You can actually set the throttle to whatever level you want, hold the little red button down on the transmitter, and then simply release it when the light goes green. Now, if you're wondering how that works, you might not know, but on top fuel drag racing cars, they don't let the clutch up or anything like that. When the light goes green, they simply let their finger off of a button on the steering wheel, and that releases the clutch, and the car powers down the track, etc. So it's exactly the same principle on this car. It comes with Traxxas TSM. Now, somebody undoubtedly will say, but you can't use TSM in no prep drag racing, but you can turn this on and off. Quite how that's going to work remains to be seen till we open the box and read the instructions. And from the right in here, and looking at the back here, you can see this thing comes with fully licensed Mickey Thompson's tyres. Comes with the Traxxas full linen 3,500 kV brushless motor. And just how fast are we going to accelerate? Well, I'm going to take it out later on in this video and try it. And this is my Power Hobby GNSS speed meter. It's got yellow tape around it in case it flies off and I have to search for it. But you can use this to test drag racing times, which will give you, you can set the distance, so we can set it to 120 feet, and we can time how long it gets to cover that 120 feet from standing start. Not only that, this should give me the speed at the end of that run. So as things move forwards, when I change the gearing, I'm going to be able to see what the best gearing options are for the car. So I'm going to be able to time myself and find out which is the best gear combination for crossing the line the fastest. But I'll put a link to all that stuff below the video. And for test purposes today, I've got two Gens Ace 2S packs on here. So I'm going to test it on 2S to start with. One of these is 2,200 milliamps, the other is 2,450 milliamps. They are specially designed for RC car drag race. Been itching to test them. Knew this was on the way, so I thought it'd make the ideal test fit. And I would like to say big shout out to NorCal Hobbies. I'll put a link to them below the video, which is where I buy all of my Traxxas cars from. No freebies from Traxxas on this channel. That does give me the advantage that I can say what I want about them, both bad and good. Fingers crossed, good on this one. Whoa, Richie whoa moment, because somebody will say it in the comment section before I mention it. Yeah, these are 2S packs, but that has got the Valinian 3,500 VXL 3S system on there. That's right, this car will take 3S on there. But for like no prep track purposes, they only race on 2S. So I'm going to test it on these to start with, but I might take a 3S pack along with me to see just what a difference the launch makes. Now, it shows the car with the lighting kit. Do know that's an optional extra. Yours for around 35 bucks, but they are out of stock at the minute. But what comes to stock is the Traxxas 3,500 kV Valinian power plant and Valinian VXL 3S ESC, Mickey Thompson licensed tyres, 2 sizes of wheels so you can tune the wheelie bar, which looks to be a good 10 inches long, extreme duty drive shafts 20% larger than stock, bearings are stock, adjustable camber and toe, and tunable oil-filled ultra shocks. Well, at the minute, it's available in 6 different colours: red, green, white, purple, black, and blue. What did Richie go for? Let's take a look and see. Our transmitter looks fairly similar to the other cars. You've got steering trim on there, a multifunction dial, which controls the TSM function on there, but I believe you can switch this on and off much quicker than using that dial, but we need to read the instructions to see. This little red button here is the line lock, or effectively the transmission brake on here. Might look familiar, but if you look from the side there, the thing is virtually flush to the side of the car. Where this comes into play is you're going to be able to do something like this, set the level of throttle you want, whether you want full throttle, 3/4 throttle, press the line lock down, and when the light goes green, release that. Simple as that. It doesn't pop out in any big way at all, but I think a more practical test is required with that. I was about to say, in classic Richie style, it's probably upside down. However, man, I'll tell you, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, way bigger. Traxxas instruction manual, will be reading that. A lot of stickers on there, preloaders for the shocks, quite a decent toolkit on there. Most importantly though, I will definitely be reading that before launching this car. If you wonder what colour I was getting, I thought this would be all white. Terrible joke, Rich. And in the bottom of the box there, we've got a wheelie bar to get out. Whatever I was expecting, wasn't expecting it to be quite as good as it looks. You really do need to go, if you're thinking about buying one of these, get yourself down to your local model store like NorCal Hobbies and go and see one of the demo cars, because Richie is nearly speechless with the size of this thing. Feels way bigger than a Slash. It's going to feel even more bigger than a Slash when I fit this, what is, I'm guessing, a 10-inch wheelie bar on there. As I say, it comes with 2 different sizes of wheels, so you can tune the wheelie bar. Obviously, you've got 6 different adjustments on there for the angle of the wheelie bar. So you've got plenty to play around with to tune the car. So let me get the camera down, let's have a spin around it, see what's inside and check how those batteries are charging. Definitely one of those cars for the expression, you will look fat in this. When you check out those Mickey Thompson tyres, that's fat spelt P-H-A-T. Awesome. Like a Pro Street Chevy C10 look to it with the tubbed wheel arches in there. A licensed Mickey Thompson tyres with the fat boys at the back and the skinny little fellows at the front. And speaking of the front of the car, I think it's an absolute must that you get the light kit for this thing, because that's going to make the difference between night versus day and enable you to race at night, no less. Absolutely killer looks on this. I am so pleased I went with the white. Now, I did say I would explain my reasoning behind that. Could have gone for a nice red body, etc, etc. However, with the white body, I thought if I put any stickers on it, then they're really going to pop out, whereas they might not do with the other colours. So I could put like my NorCal stickers on there, if I put a different, put Traxxas stickers on there, and they're really going to pop out on the car against the white body, whereas they probably wouldn't do on some of the other colours. So that is the logic behind me getting the white body. And also the thought is, if it does flip over and get scratched, most bodies tend to, when the paint tends to get cut through, the body looks white underneath. So I'm thinking, if this does flip, get scratched on the top, the scratches are going to show far less. I hope that logic makes sense. Anyway, let's take a look at the goodies inside. The body off. The only thing I would say, I do think it's a great shame it's not a clipless body like the new Traxxas Fortec 3.0 is, because it would look absolutely stunning if there were no clips on there. The initial spot shots of this car made it look like there weren't any body clips. There we go, a Slash, but not a Slash as we know it. Well, I have to say, from the absolute outset, this does look severely re-engineered. This is not just like a slight reworking of the Slash. For a start, you've got that completely new heavy-duty Pro Series Magnum 272 gearbox, which looks very beefy indeed, as do the drive shafts at the rear, which are 20% larger than the stock heavy-duty drive shafts on the car. Ultra shocks, both at the rear, and at the front. And at the front there, we've got the fully adjustable tie rods for both the camber and the toe in and toe out. So a high level of adjustability on there. The ubiquitous Traxxas Valenian VXL 3S ESC, which is one of the best any stock car out there going, to my mind. Nice to see they've fitted this out so you can drop 3S into it if you want, but likewise you're going to be able to race all day long in no prep drag racing on 2S on this baby. Waterproof electrics, very doubtful you're going to run through water with those slick Mickey Thompson original tyres on there. And it has got the Slash LCG chassis, servo mounted under the front there. How will the servo hold up? Well, I should think fairly well, but the proof will be in the eating of the pudding, so to speak. It actually looks very, very sturdy indeed. You've got a nice front impact bumper at the front, but hopefully you won't be hitting anything. Nice large battery tray down the centre there, so you can fit a wide variety of packs in there. But bearing in mind, when you drag racing, doing short bursts up and down with this thing, even a small, say, 1800 milliamp or 2000 milliamp battery is going to last an awfully long time indeed. Although with that Valenian power plant on board, I would suggest something like 5000 milliamps might be better, but you're going to need to play around with it because this is all about how fast the car accelerates. More weight in there, the slower it's going to accelerate. And talking about that battery, for 2S no prep drag racing, Traxxas actually recommend a 7600 milliamp 2S pack as the optimal one for performance. So a lot of the work going into making this car accelerate fast is going to be a lot of trial and error, and hence the use of my Power Hobby GNSS speed meter to test just how fast it is accelerating with each setup from 0 to 120 feet. What else do we get with that Traxxas Drag Slash? Well, it comes with optional pinion gearing on air, but it says to fit that only when you're familiar with the operation of the car and used to driving it. Comes with the optional smaller wheels to fit to the wheelie bar to tune the performance of it. It's got the larger ones fitted as stock. Fairly comprehensive toolkit, and tucked away in here are 4 M3x12 screws which we're going to use to attach the wheelie bar to the car. Anyway, time to read the manual, get that wheelie bar on. Time to fit that wheelie bar on. Making sure you go through the same hole at the top. Time to tighten it all up. So, wheelie bar on, nice easy job. You could, I know they give this car out something like a skill level 4 rating, but to my mind as a beginner, you could buy this, run it with a 2S battery and give it full acceleration off the line, straight out of the box on a very, very easy setup indeed. Just 4 screws, as I've shown you on there, to set the wheelie bar up. I'll show you how to fit the optional pinion gear in another video if people are interested. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to tune the car at the end of this video. Well, my battery's all fully charged, but in the meantime, I've put the stickers on, and now you might see why I've gone for the white body, because it really makes the stickers pop out, and this is the effect that I wanted at the front of the car, with all the stickers down the side of the door like you see on Pro Street cars. And I've even put my little NorCal Happy sticker across the front. So all in all, I'm very happy with the look of that. Well, this car comes with TSM on a standard. Now, I did feel I had to read the manual in order to find out how to switch it to the mode where you can have TSM turned off under acceleration, because on certain races, like for no prep 2S drag racing, you can't have any traction control on there. But Traxxas have thought of something to control that. You're not going to have to just turn this down to 0, anything like that. You need to show a method whereby you can't be seen to be cheating. When you've powered the car up and it's at a standstill, you're going to pull this plug out, you're going to press the link button on here, and it's going to flash a blink. The LED is going to change from solid green to blinking red, so you're going to be able to show that to your race director to show them that the TSM is not on the car. However, it will come on under braking, which is where most of the crashes have. So this is very well thought out indeed by Traxxas. Absolute killer of a feature to my mind. But that battery is definitely charged, so time to stop talking, go test it. Okay, well, time for my first run with the Traxxas Drag Slash. And if you thought this thing was like overpriced, expensive, etc., think again. I've been driving this off camera and I'm absolutely loving it. This is one of the best, most innovative cars that has come out over the past couple of years. I would put it up there quite strongly with a part on like the Traxxas TRX4. It is that groundbreaking to my mind in terms of the launch control, etc., etc. on there. And that thing looks
absolutely killer. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below the video. Anyway, let's get to it. To start with, we are just running on a 2S Gen 6 pack, 5200 milliamp. I'm not going to do a burnout to start with. That's his first ever turn. To start with, I'm not going to use the transmission brake, just going to give it full throttle off the line. This is just on 2S. Now I'll know it'll run okay. I've got my Power RB GNSS meter here, which is put the drag app on, distance for 120 feet. Now that should tell me how fast this is over 120 feet. Good brakes on this, and that Polinian setup is super smooth. Let's read that, see what we got. Okay, 3.21 seconds to 120 feet at the top speed of 35 miles an hour. So next, I'm going to try using the transmission brake, which is, I believe, is we push this button down, we set our throttle on, then when we release this, should launch off the line, all being well, he says. So, I hope, let's go. Oh yeah. I can tell you now, Traxxas have come up with a winner on this. You were looking for innovation along the lines of something like the TRX4 when that came out. I think we've just found it. So button down, full throttle. I suspect we might not have improved on the time. Oh, did I tell a lie? 3.2 at 35 miles an hour, peak speed on there. Anyway, I think it's time. Now I've got to grips with it. I think it's time we put the 3S pack in. S pack installed now. To start with, let's give it full throttle off the line. Well, let's give it full throttle off the line, see how we get on before we try out the trans brake. Oh man. I'm a little bit more nervous with this setup. Okay, full throttle again. Man! Steering on the thing is absolutely fantastic, I have to say. Somebody at Traxxas has spent a long time dialing this in. Just coming to the side, wondering if it is wheeling or not. Anyway, full throttle launch again. Oh man, it is. Now my first thoughts are, it is going to need a little bit of work with the preload spacers in there, because once it gets rolling, it is wanting to pull just slightly to the right on there, which means I'm going to need to play around with the preload on there. But you're only going to learn this by trial and error, likewise with a wheelie bar on there. One more full throttle run, and then I'm going to test it with the trans brake. Okay, full throttle again. Okay, I think I'm feeling brave enough to try it with the trans lock on 3S, so button on, full throttle. Hold on, Jack, Richie boy. Just recovered that. So definitely some work to do on the preload in there. Oh, trans lock. We could do it maybe to 3/4 level, then release. Easy to keep in control. Okay, now thought for the day is, yeah, it's pulling a little wildly to one side when I give it full throttle and release the translock, but you don't have to do that. You could put the translock on, hold it to say 3/4 throttle, then let go, in which case, it runs pretty darn straight. Green light goes on, release, then nail it. Oh yeah. And I've gone through the centre line by then. But you get the picture. Okay, with my confidence growing, ready to use the drag app. Okay. So, just going to launch on 3/4 throttle to start with. So trans brake down, wait for the green light to go, and then nail it. Oh man. Well, it's good, not absolutely perfect. Don't expect to go out in an absolute straight line, but it is quite windy up here. But for a first try, what did that pull? 2.9 seconds to 48 miles an hour over the 120. Yes, that one maybe. Trans brake on. Put a little bit more throttle on there. Release. See if we improve that. 2.27 at 41 miles an hour. So I had to ease off a little bit at the top end, but the acceleration off the line certainly improved on there. Dial that TSM down a touch again. 3/4 of the way there. Release. That would have crossed onto the other lane, so we definitely need some preload on there. 2.8 to 48 miles an hour. That's probably the best one I've got so far out there today. I'm thinking it's probably peaking out at 48. Might have this that's got 50 in it, but I'm thinking 48 is pretty good, looking like that's a solid number at the top there today. Now at the minute, I'm not seeing any reason to do a burnout on it because it's just hooking up and pulling away like an absolute rocket. So is the Traxxas Drag Slash every bit as good as I hoped it would be? No. It is actually far, far better, far more fun on 2S. Literally anybody could drive this thing, take it drag racing at a local club meet at the weekend, straight out of the box, and potentially win with it. It is that simple, that easy to drive. I flipped it just the once, but in general, it seems to be pretty stable. Running on 2S, you would be having a try to flip this thing over on there. A little bit of tweaking to do in terms of the preloader on there to stop it maybe pulling right at that top end with the 3S pack on there. But all in all, I am absolutely loving this. Have your say in the comment section below as to what you think of this car. But to my mind, this thing is probably as groundbreaking as the original TRX4 was when it came on the market. And just remember, when I'm saying that, I'm saying it from the heart, as I bought this car. It wasn't given to me.
Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.